Hi, I'm Alex Poljot, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Talking Timepieces, where we talk about watch collecting and horology. Today we're going to look at this very interesting Poljot MiG-29 branded chronograph. It uses the Poljot 3133 movement, and this one is of extremely interesting heritage because it depicts the MiG-29, and I got it from a man who was on the team that took apart the MiG-29 that defected to the West. So let's turn the camera around and get into it, shall we? Here we are with the Poljot MiG-29 chronograph, based on the Poljot 3133 movement. It is a striking piece, kind of a two-tone there. I'm not quite sure what the material of this bluish, grayish material is. I don't want to test it with anything to see what it's made of. I could scratch it, but it appears to be, could be metal. But it does look striking. The interesting thing is that this watch is relatively common without this interesting bezel. And in fact, there are quite a few available with this face, but not this bezel. I checked, and the Novette variation on the chronograph without the MiG-29 is in availability, as it were. So this is an interesting mix of the high-end case and the military watch face. So I'm guessing that this was more intended for officers and the like. But then again, it could just be variations trying to show a little bit of a higher-end presentation. This watch came out right around the early 90s, 91, 92, and represents the first batch of watches made immediately after the end of the Cold War. Now, the Poljot 3133 in here is a workhorse movement and is very, very reliable. There is a video on the Junkers with the same movement in the archive. I encourage you to check it out. It's interesting that the bezel doesn't turn on this watch, and it is a like I said, the 3133 does not have a quick set date. It's just a decent workhorse watch that just happens to look very cool. This watch, even with its interesting heritage, isn't worth more than $500, but it's definitely something that I'll enjoy having in my collection. And I encourage you to check out some of the other Poljots that are available out on the marketplace. The case back has some very interesting engraving, and shows you that this is a higher end version. It's got its own serial number and just a sharp watch. And as I was saying, it has the case. This is the case back of that higher end watch. It's supposed to be gold, but it's obviously gold plate. It gets a kind of a two-tone look because of that insert into the bezel. But it is a beautiful piece. Let's look at it on the wrist real quick. Wristwatch check, I'm wearing my Mito Ocean Star Chrono, which is a really underrated piece. Titanium, ceramic bezel, really nice. The tachymeter scale is in nautical miles, nodding to its sea-oriented nature. So yeah, let's throw this on the wrist. This isn't the factory strap for it. I just picked up a strap that matched its look as best as possible because it is a really nice looking piece, and it does it does have a very nice wrist presence. It's a really good looking watch. Let's turn the camera around and close out the episode. So that was the Poljot chronograph, Nove case, MiG-29 face, an interesting piece, definitely worth looking into.